Avoir. All right, welcome back to another episode of FitPet Boston Talks. My name is Leah Lodato, and I am the host of the show. Today, I am joined by my spouse, Laurie.
Hello.
And we are going to riff a little bit and also talk about two specific things I wanted to air out a little bit. I wanted to talk about canine nutrition and nutrition consults, and also talk about what we have going on at the Fetch Collective. So, before we get started on that, I just wanted to say thank you so much for tuning into the show. I know that our attention gets pulled in a million different directions, and you've chosen to listen to us go on about dogs and what we have going on, so I really appreciate that. Laurie and I are local Boston area dog trainers. I primarily am a dog walker. I do a lot of off-leash pack hikes, training for off-leash obedience. I do neighborhood walks as well, and I really enjoy the company of dogs and being out in the woods, just hanging out and spending time with them. So that's what I do on the regular. Laurie trains dogs. We both compete with our own personal dogs in a couple of different dog sports and activities. And I am a director at the Fetch Collective, which is a fairly new dog sport club. We primarily focus on disc dog sports, but we are involved in a variety of other different things too. So that's what's up. A little background if you're brand new. First of all, Laurie, are you completely rehydrated after last night?
I don't know. I don't feel very good right now. I'm
sorry.
I canceled the class. I thought I was fine. So since Saturday it's been hot?
Yeah, it's like hell's kitchen here in Boston. I don't know where you're listening from. Hopefully from around here, because this is a local show, but it's been really hot.
And I was like, this isn't bothering me at all. This isn't bothering me. And like Saturday I was running dogs through this course that I built in the backyard, and then Sunday I was working, and Monday, and what is today? Wednesday?
Yeah. I'm
like, this is fine. Everything's fine. Everyone's making a big deal out of this. And now I was in the grooming room, and I was starting to question if I had done something. Like, did I just do this? Did I put a blade? Did I just put an attachment on this comb? And then I got super dizzy and nauseous. So I guess I should have been hydrating more. And last night we went to Hosier.
We did.
Over in Fenway.
Uh-huh. It was the hottest day of the year so far, and we were out there in the bleachers.
Like I stepped in a shower.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely would have picked a different seat, knowing now what it's like. I went to Fenway only once in my life as a Massachusetts resident, and I had no idea. Next time, I'm going to be right next to the stage.
It was an experience, though.
It was
a really good show.
It was I love him, and
you have to love him in order to show up at that time of day on a weeknight, getting into Boston in 100-degree heat. You have to love Hosier. Like, I was sitting there just drenched in sweat, like, shoulder to shoulder with Laurie and then some dude, and I enjoyed it. But my sister was supposed to come with us.
Thank God she didn't go,
and she bailed. And I was thinking on the ride home, my sister would have hated every single minute of that because she doesn't love Hosier.
Yeah, you have to love
the artist. And everybody, it was insane. Here is this dude from Ireland who basically came out of kind of obscurity and had a very niche audience. And he's playing to over 30,000 people in Boston, and everybody knows the words to every single song that is being played. Like, I like Hosier. I don't know every single word to every single song. The girls around us,
they knew every.
It was great, and you have to love him. And those people love Hosier, and I love Hosier. And my sister does not love Hosier as much as I do, so I think that she would have been pretty freaking miserable.
Yeah, I'm glad she couldn't go. But it was an experience for sure.
It was. We are so lucky because we started to see him in like 2018, 2019. We saw him for the first time. And we've seen him like every year since.
We've always seen
every
him.
Single time he comes to Boston, we go see Hosier. And we've seen him at the Wang, which was probably my favorite concert I've ever been to.
It was so beautiful.
Because I'm a huge audiophile. Like, I love listening to music in headphones. I like dissecting it. I like I understand a lot about music, so I really enjoy listening. Like, I'd prefer to sit and listen to a whole show, no matter who it is, versus like standing up and waving my arms around and singing. And the sound at the Wang was unbelievable. It just sounded so good. And Fenway sucks. Like, there's no two ways about it. It's just, when you get into those big arena type performances, like, the quality of the sound just goes down the toilet, and you need to go for other reasons, such as you just love the artist. But it was fun. Definitely still recovering. I woke up this morning after like 4.5 hours of sleep to walk dogs super duper early, and I just felt totally drained. Like, as soon as I opened my eyes.
I was fine, and then I'd come back from an early workout, and then I started to feel tired. I don't know. A really young crowd at this concert as well. What's his hit song? Like Too Sweet or something like that?
Yeah, Too Sweet.
The newest one. Mm-hmm. Like, I listened to his old stuff, and I was blown away. I was like, did these young people hear this song? Like, this song of his, not even the best song? And then they got hooked on him? Because it was a really young crowd.
It has to be, because that song was on like Kiss 108 and all of the popular radio stations. And that's how you get those huge crowds, is by having a song like that. But his songs are he has so much like traditional Irish influences in his music. It's crazy. Like, he is a perfectionist, that's for sure. And he is a musician. He, at the end of the show, walked out into the crowd. There was a little platform. He stood there and played 2 songs acoustic, just a dude and an acoustic guitar, and 30,000 people. I was just blown away. I was like, and it was so good. Like, people were practically in tears. It was just, he's that good. And it's not all music that you would hear on the radio. A lot of his songs are definitely more, I would say, artistic.
Then there's, like, every time he's on stage, he's very ethereal. There's no wind, yet his hair is blowing.
Yeah, he's got fans on him.
It's just every time, but even when we were at the Wang, I'm like, look at his hair blowing. Is there a halo over his head?
He looks like an angel.
Yeah. So anyway.
And he's very wispy.
I know, he's just like a Gumby.
Mm-hmm.
A number 2 Gumby. Number 2 pencil Gumby.
Tall and thin and has this beautiful black hair. Yeah. I love Hozier. Hey, I'm gay. I'm not blind, you know.
Okay, everybody.
Anyhow.
Leah's got a crush.
And then, oh my God, we're driving to the T, and we're in Medford, and I look over, and we're right by the Mystic River, and there's this green space in between Route 16 and the river. And there are people right next to the road in like an archery class.
Arrows right at your head. Right at your head.
Literally, they had about 6 or 7 targets. And then the people were standing about 10 yards back, shooting recurve bows into these targets. And I'm thinking to myself, these assholes won't let me rent a field to run dogs, but they'll let people with a bow and arrow in a public park fire away. I don't understand the world. I really don't.
You're such an old man when you say stuff like, look at these kids shooting arrows. They won't even rent me a field.
Seriously. Oh, man. Oh, huge tangent. But when I was a kid, we shot archery, and we had our bow. They weren't locked up. Lock up your stuff. But they weren't locked up. So I remember one day, my sister, my brother, and I shared a bedroom. And we had one of the bows inside the bedroom. And my sister took it out. And on the bow, there's this thing called a clicker. Not a clicker like you would use for a dog. It's this.
I figured that much, Leah.
It's this little thing that goes right over like the tip of the arrow, and as you're drawing the bow back, it clicks. And as soon as it clicks, you know that you're at the correct length, and you release. So my sister, I don't know if like we put some piece of new equipment on the bow, and she wanted to try it out. And we were very regimented. We used to go to archery every single Saturday. My dad would take us to the gun club.
As one does.
So my sister loads an arrow in the thing. And as soon as the arrow passed by the clicker, she shot it because it was like a reflex.
Uh-huh.
And it hit the door of the bedroom. And my brother was standing like next to her. And I was laying on the bed like at like 11 o'clock. And all 3 of us just like stared at each other.
You people on the farm.
And my mom almost lost her mind. She was so angry at us.
Did she hear it? Or did you admit to what happened? I mean, there's a hole in the door.
You know, there's still a hole in that door. To this day, when I go home, I see it. Yeah. Anyway, lock your stuff up because kids are crazy. But anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit today about canine nutrition because I got my certification through the Feed Real Institute, and I am offering nutrition consultations for people who are interested in learning more about feeding dogs whole foods. And I just wanted to put it out there and be super clear about the type of consultation that it is. I'll be throwing things up on my Instagram story as well. And I also have this in the description on the website, but I've had a few conversations with people via social media, and I felt like I needed to say this out loud. But the nutrition consultations are going to be geared toward feeding your dog's food, not so much supplementation. So I think that there is a big benefit to feeding fish oil and glucosamine and chondroitin and probiotics and all these list of things that people are asking questions about and feeding their dogs. And that's not the direction of the nutrition consultation. So my goal is to help dog owners integrate whole food sources into their dog's diet. I'm not a board certified nutritionist that works for like a big pet food company or a feed company, for example. The Feed Real Institute is focused on exactly what the name describes, feeding real food. So if you're interested in learning more about feeding your dogs real food, whether it's cooked food, raw food, reach out. You can fill out the questionnaire on my website. But if you're looking for supplement recommendations, or you're looking for dog kibble recommendations, I probably would not be the right person to contact. You can call your veterinarian, and I'm sure that they have a long list of things that they would recommend. But I'm big on feeding whole foods. I've seen a huge benefit with my own dogs, and I read a ton, Laurie can probably tell you, about canine nutrition, and I try to stay informed. And I'm a big believer in feeding as much whole foods as you possibly can in order to help your dog's digestive tract, keep them healthy, etc. So that's the direction of the nutrition consultations. I have helped people.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
What are you talking about supplements? Because you do put supplements in the food.
Mm-hmm.
So why did you say you don't talk about supplements?
Well, it's not that I don't talk about supplements, but that's not the goal of the consultation. For example, if somebody comes to me and says, I'm not interested in feeding whole foods, what supplements can I add to the foods in order to kind of get the same benefits as feeding?
What can I add to my dry kibble?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, you can, but that I don't care about that take.
Oh, you're a snob.
Yeah. Not that I don't care about that take, but I don't. That's not what the consultations are for. They're really geared towards helping people. Excuse me. They're geared towards helping people figure out what whole food items will enhance our dog's diet. And the idea is to be able to eventually, if people are into it, build out meals for their dog. So, and I've helped people do that. And as of right now, I do not have a service offering yet to take people stem to stern, like going from feeding kibble exclusively to feeding raw or cooked food exclusively. I have helped people do that as a preliminary. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to shout out Molly and Sam because I helped them out quite a bit. I've helped out Carol and Maple quite a bit. Carol went from feeding all commercial food to completely preparing her food for her dog Maple herself. So Carol came to my house and we prepared food together. She asks me questions on a regular basis. We go back and forth. Molly, I helped her out, and with Molly, it was daily communication for about a month regarding her dog's diet and what she was doing and building out meals that were going to be able to work for Sam in the long run because he had a really sensitive GI tract. And so I have worked with a number of people as kind of like an experiment, so to speak, just to kind of figure out how to best serve people's needs. And that daily communication type of coaching, it will be a service offering, but one-on-one consultations will kind of get the foot in the door. And I have found that people really need a ton of hand-holding in the beginning if they're trying to make the switch permanent and they're not using a commercial fresh or raw food in order to do that. So right now I just have one-on-one consultations on the website that you can sign up for. In the future, I will have probably some group workshops and things of that nature, and more of a like monthly package where, you know, we can go back and forth and you can send me pictures of your dog's poop and ask me questions whenever you want.
I mean, if that doesn't, it's good times.
Yeah.
If that doesn't say good time.
You should see Molly's text thread on WhatsApp. It's just pictures of poop.
Dog people have no problem talking about poop.
Not at all.
None. And it actually makes you feel better when you see it. Like, it's the small things throughout the day that make you feel better.
Yeah, well, when dogs are sick, it's super stressful.
Yep.
Super duper
And who
stressful.
wants to clean that up with the bag as you're scraping the grass and somebody's looking at you or somebody's trying to walk by with their dog and there you are, just trying to pick up some diarrhea off the ground with your stupid ass recyclable poop bag that fucking breaks open and now it's all over your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And you have the dog in the leash and then the other dog barking at your dog.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody came to a class with coffee-scented poop bags.
What?
And I was like, why are we ruining a good thing? And why would you make a coffee-scented poop bag? People bought it. Somebody bought it, Leah. What is wrong with us?
I'm all for the unscented poop bag. So
I don't even like scented trash bags.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God, do they smell bad. Who is buying those?
Somebody who thinks they're doing the right
They
thing.
reek.
That's
they
who.
don't even smell like lemon or citrus. They just smell like some old lady's powder and perfume.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of scented things.
Sorry, I went on. But coffee?
Yeah.
I love coffee.
I know, ruining coffee.
Why are we
for
mixing
everybody?
that? Like if you,
That's terrible.
I know. If you buy any scented bag, what are some of the scented bags that you've seen?
It's like lavender.
Oh, lavender.
Yeah.
Lavender shit. That's what you smell. You don't smell lavender. Honest to God. Why aren't we making this stuff?
I don't know, but I will tell you one thing. If you have those biodegradable poop bags, they biodegrade whether there is poop in them or not. So if you leave them in a cupboard somewhere for a while and you don't use them, and then you go to try to use them,
worse bags.
you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
You're going to be in deep shit.
I know this from firsthand experience. I pulled it out of literally, I'm unrolling them and they're just like ripping like pieces of paper.
Sounds like a great idea. Yeah. Let's do that.
Well, if you can use them right away, I think they're great because they biodegrade. But if you can't and you buy a ton of them, not a good idea.
You just have that one moment, Leah, where it breaks open.
Yeah. Yeah. My God. The other day, I told this to Melissa already. She laughed a lot. So I had Sage and Olive. So Olive is a black lab. She's probably like 5 or 6 now. And Sage is another black lab the family got. And I have them every single day. Sage didn't want to get into the car. So I had a poop bag. And so I put it on top of my tire because I was loading in the back. And so I get Sage in the car and then, forgot. So the poop bag is on my tire. And
no.
I backed up and it sounded like a gunshot.
Oh, that's good.
So I back up, bam. I'm like, oh my God.
I hit something.
And as soon as I heard it, I remembered. And I was just like, no. So I did have some water in the car and I like washed off the pavement and I got home and sprayed down the car. But I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I am such a moron.
You literally have a poop bag holder on the back of the 4Runner.
I'm a mess. If I'm not doing it right then, I forget. I forgot.
Let that be a lesson, kids.
Seriously. And I'm in a rush sometimes, like during the day, it's my days are crazy. I'm just like, go all day long. This week was actually awesome because I told my clients, if you're home I'm taking the dogs out as early as possible. We're going on hikes. So I did that and it was incredible. Like I got out of the house nice and early, did 2 hikes, came back home. Then I went out around noon, let everybody for potty breaks out. And it was great. I wish I could do it all the time, but alas. Okay, next I wanted to talk a little bit about the Fetch Collective and what we have going on for those of you that would be interested. So, Fetch Collective, Disc Dog Club, we do toss and fetch on Monday nights. This past Monday night was crazy hot. Crazy hot.
2 hot nights.
But I know that we don't talk a lot about training and trialing, but I think that there's something to be said for having conditions that are not ideal, taking the pressure off the handler, because on Monday night, it was really hot and we started super late. Only 8 teams showed up to play. And I told everybody, if you don't want to play, please don't play. There's no sense in killing yourself. So we had 8 teams show up and we had 4 teams, including myself and Raven, hit personal bests in that heat. And it wasn't personal bests by like 1 point for a few of us. It was personal bests by like 3 or more points. And for Raven and I, it was personal best of 11 points, which is pretty crazy. So I think that when we get out there and if we're playing Frisbee and it's really windy, for example, or it was really hot on Monday night, if we get out there and the conditions aren't ideal, you're kind of like, nobody's expecting anything of me. Sometimes it takes the pressure off the handler and you can have an amazing run, which is what happened. Really, really cool. Raven crushed it.
You do to keep the dogs cool in that weather, everybody's asking you.
So a lot of people ran their cars, ran their AC. I shouldn't say a lot. There was only 8 of us there. I didn't run the AC for Raven. So Barb brought a sprayer and I brought a ice water cooler.
Mm-hmm.
So after I ran Raven, I took some cold water and I doused her with it. I got her belly, got her back. I put a little bit on her paws, put her inside the car with 2 fans. And some other people did the same thing and then turned the air conditioner on. One thing that I do is I play conservatively. So when Raven and we were playing 90-second rounds, the first round that we had was the best round I've ever played of Frisbee. I threw the Frisbee the first time. She caught a 45-yard throw. Okay. Threw another 5. She caught it. Threw a 3. Threw another 5.5. She caught it. Threw another 3. She caught it. So she caught 5 throws. Mm-hmm. And I still had like maybe 10 or 15 seconds left on the clock. And I just stopped because only the 5 best catches count. She caught all 5 catches. I didn't want to kill her. So we stopped.
All right.
Raven, when she gets tired, starts wheezing. So as she's coming back to me, I can hear her breathing get really labored. She like makes these noises. And on the last catch in the first round, when she came back to me, she was wheezing. And so I put her up. The next round that we played, I put her up. I did all that stuff to cool her down. The next round that we played, after the second catch, she was wheezing. So I played much more conservatively. I did not throw as far for her in that round. Because like heat stroke's a real thing. Even if you're only running your dog for a minute or 2, they can get really tired. And it doesn't happen in that moment, but it happens afterwards if the dog can't cool down. And we did the exact same thing after her second round. Catherine actually sprayed her down with the sprayer. I turned the car on, got her into the AC right away because we were leaving anyway. And it took her the majority of the car ride home to stop panting because it was just ridiculously hot and humid.
Yeah, Buddha overheats really quickly. And one time after a school therapy visit, the Forerunner doesn't blow a lot of cold air very quickly. It takes a long time for it to cool down. That Rufflin kennel was there. I thought it was hot in there, and I heard him panting. I'm like, he's gonna be fine. The air's going. Not fine. He was like a little delusional, kind of stumbling. I was like, this is so bad. And then I just promised myself I would never go to. I cooled him down, a wet towel. I laid it on top of him. It took him a good, in even doing bite work. I mean, sometimes it takes a whole ride from New Hampshire to, right as we're pulling into the driveway, I can, the driveway at home, I can hear his breathing like start to regulate. But, that's an hour and a half later. So he's super sensitive to heat. And he, I wasn't playing with him. I was taking care of everybody's dog. And I went, which, I love doing that. I love taking care of people's dogs. But then I look at Buddha and I'm like, oh my God, he hasn't done anything. Let me do something with him. And I was throwing the round frisbee thing that he loves. And he was really going for it. I was like, look at him go. He's not tired. He's not rushing. He's not anything. He wasn't laying down, because a lot of the times if Buddha gets tired, he'll go lay down with the item instead of bring it back for that last shot. And then I looked at him. I'm like, damn it. His tongue was all curled up, just like a ladle. And again, it took him like 45 minutes to calm down from breathing. If your dog is super hot, wait for them to calm down and have normal breathing before you feed them, guys. And don't run your dog after food. And if you're worried about the heat or you're a forgetful person, don't bring your dog into the car. Unless you're bringing your dog in the car, you're going to the location, taking the dog with you, and then you come home and take the dog out. It's interesting because we have a Sienna now, and it actually tells you to, like a bell dings when you shut the car off, and it says check rear seat, for parents who would leave their kids in the back of the car and forget.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, another thing I wanted to mention too. If you have a new car and you are used to leaving your dogs in the car with the air conditioner, make sure that your car does not have an automatic shut off. Because some cars, after they've been running for a certain amount of time, will automatically shut off. The 4Runner will.
Yep.
I think after like 25 minutes or so. Don't leave your dogs in the car with the air on and in the sun and leave and go train dogs and lose track of time. Check in, make sure that the car is still running. Even when I have the air conditioning on, I park in the shade, and I'm so close to the field that I'm kind of interacting with my car and my stuff and everything like that. But I mean, I was at a seminar, and they had set up a TV that they were running off of the car. And every half an hour, the car would shut off. And it was my buddy Carlos's truck. And I said, this is awesome because you just got this truck and now you know that you have like whatever, 20 minutes before the thing shuts off. And I don't know if it can be changed, if it's like a setting that you can change. But leaving your dogs in the car with the air conditioner on, you have to do it if you're at these dog sport events and you're in the middle of the sun, it's beating down on you and you're there all day. So if you get a new car, just pay attention to that. The element would never shut off. And I know, terrible for the environment, but sometimes it has to be done for safety. So, and you know what? I didn't run Ruben on Monday because he performs terrible in the heat. He absolutely hates it. And if I wasn't running the event, I don't even know if I would have gone. But I'm glad that I did because we had our best rounds ever, and Raven was completely fine and she was happy to be there. And a lot of the other dogs had amazing rounds and everybody was safe. So that was really cool. And everybody's very intuitive to what other people are doing. Like somebody else will hose the dog down, make sure that they have water, make sure they're paying attention to everybody's cars. Like we just work together really nicely as a team. But it was extreme on Monday night. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we don't have anything that insane. And it's not only the temperature, the humidity was ridiculous too. And
well, it was hotter than Vegas.
Dogs can't breathe. They can't breathe. So
what do we have? Let's talk about things that you need when it's too hot outside.
Common sense, number one.
Yeah. So much water.
Yeah.
Bowls. You can have cooling vests for your dog.
Yep. I have one for Ruben. It works really well.
I love those sunshades.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what's the official name of those sunshades?
I don't know. They look like space paper.
Yeah, they allow wind in and they reflect the light. Yeah. And also, I have when I would go to bite work, I had the windshield blocker. Like the old people put up. Mm-hmm. It really lowers the temperature. Try to park in shade. I mean, that's all the things I do, right? Is there any other?
Yeah, cooling down the dog's paws is really good. Some people, if their dogs are going through what they think are kind of like preliminary heat stroke, they'll keep rubbing alcohol in their kit I have rubbing alcohol in my kit too. Sometimes if you dilute it a little bit with water and you put it on your dog's pads of their feet, that can really help cool them down. Some people will even go so far as to rub it on their belly. I'm not a huge fan of doing that on the skin, but if you're desperate, if your dog is like going into heat stroke, it might not be a bad idea. The most important thing is to get them in a cool environment, because dogs are cooling themselves off by panting. They're inhaling cooler air. Their lungs are huge. So that cool air is heading down into their lungs. It's cooling down their internal temperature. So getting them into a cooler environment is crucial in order to cool them down. So more so than a cooling vest, more so than drinking water, is getting them into air conditioning, I think is the best way to do it.
I've never heard of that alcohol thing.
Oh, no? Oh, the hunting dog people do it.
Oh,
yeah.
Excuse me.
And I also think there's something to be said for conditioning your dog to be able to tolerate the heat. I think that there's something to that as well. I think that if you, like, my idea for kenneling Raven without the air conditioner on, especially before she ran, I want her to get used to being warm. I mean, some hunting dog people, they like to leave their dogs outside when it's warm out and the dogs are in the shade and, they're not running around, just to condition them to the heat. I don't do that, but if there are little things that I can do in order to make it a little bit easier on them when it's time to go out and work, I'll do it, because I don't know about you guys, but these summers are getting hotter. We're having more like 100-degree days. It's crazy.
Yeah, I had a customer way back, like 18 years ago, and her house was kept at freezing temperatures. Those dogs could not tolerate any heat at all. Like, if you are pumping that AC and your house is 58 degrees, your dogs are never going to survive in the hot temperatures. And I think that's what, and then I remember when I was first learning, nobody wanted to have their dog in AC. They wanted their dog to have a tolerance to heat. It's the same as us, right? When I was in New Hampshire, we didn't have AC. I was used to it. Now, at nighttime, I want to be a popsicle. And with these hot flashes, please, child. I'm like slap an ice pack on my head. Anyway, I just like, being in your 40s is so insulting.
Somebody said that we should do a marriage podcast. I'm like, it already is.
It is a marriage podcast.
It's like getting older with Leah and Laurie.
Oh my God. What the hell? It's just... Oh, I found the name. If anyone, and I'm sure dog people already know this, but maybe our pet parents don't. Illuminate shade cloth. Reflective aluminum shade netting sunshade cover with grommets for cars, dogs, outdoor, RV, and patio.
Yeah, they work.
Right on Amazon. They work like a beast. I'm telling you right now, it lowers the temperature. It's awesome.
Yes.
Well, there was a little topic we never knew we were going to talk about.
Well, there we go.
All right.
Other stuff going on at the Fetch Collective. So tomorrow, short notice, I know, but I'm excited about this event. We were invited by the Town of Hudson Rec Department to have a booth at an event called Bark in the Park. So it's going to be a public event. We're going to have a little fragility course set up. We have some demo dogs coming to run the course, which should be really fun. Some people on the team that do freestyle, so they'll do little freestyle routines. I'll have my PA system, get a microphone. I think we're going to put Catherine on the microphone to MC. Should be hilarious.
She has the best accent.
Yeah. And hopefully some people from the public will want to try out some agility equipment. We're going to have a little tunnel, a couple jumps, and I'm going to bring the hoop as well and do fragility rounds, talk about disc. Come by and meet us if you are in Hudson or the surrounding area. It'll be at Wood Park from 5 to 8 p.m. Thursday the 26th. Hilarious, because we were invited to go to this event, yet the reason why we were invited to go to the event was because I filled out a form for the Town of Hudson Rec Department to rent fields for disc dog sports, and they said no way. And then
what?
Yeah, and then the next day they emailed me and said, "But would you like to participate in this event?"
Okay.
Event.
Like, no, give me some land.
I should have asked if I could shoot archery.
Maybe. It comes full circle, guys.
So, I figured make an appearance, be nice to people. They can see that we're not crazy dog lunatics.
I mean, that's doubtful. Maybe.
I know if Barb shows up with her mosquito netting on, I don't know if it might be a hard sell, but it'll be fun. But that's my idea. And, good way to connect to the community, reach out. It is my passion to bring new people into the sport. I think it's super fun. Who knows? Maybe we'll get one person with the sporty, drivey dog that likes to throw a Frisbee and their dog likes to catch a Frisbee, and they might want to check out League. So,
isn't that something that they want you to participate, but they would never rent a field? The world is a beautiful place.
Well, you shouldn't say never. Sometimes, you got to grease some palms.
Grease some palms.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how I'm going to do that. I have very little grease to go around, so I can't bribe the poor woman. But it would be nice
to have... wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
How you doing?
But it would be nice. We did find a spot to rent in Hudson to host Worlds this year. So Toss and Fetch Worlds will be hosted by Club Team Framingham and the Fetch Collective in collaboration with Team Boston and North Andover. It's going to be a big event on a Monday afternoon into the evening in September. We found a place to rent. Super excited about that. Private, wicked nice field, bathroom facilities, and I'm really hoping that we can make a good impression there as well to open the door for future events. It is a little bit pricey, but you know what? It's worth it in the long run to have a place that has a ton of parking, private bathrooms, all that stuff. They'll let us line the field. And hopefully next year we will have a larger Updog event, which I think would be really fun. Also, the Fetch Collective, we have a throwing clinic on July 9th. And my buddy Ben Spence and I will be hosting that clinic, instructing that clinic. And the goal is to be able to throw consistently. And for those of you that are struggling to throw past like 20, 25 yards for your dog, this is the clinic for you. So we'll talk about mechanics of the disc, how the discs fly. We'll talk about choices for discs. And then Ben is an amazing disc golfer, and he has an incredible throw. So he will probably do most of the instructing for throwing form, and we'll work on getting that disc out onto the field because many people have dogs that can catch a 40-yard throw. But alas, we cannot throw a 40-yard throw.
I didn't know you were so close to Ben.
Well, I see him regularly, and he's a nice guy, so I asked him. He said, yes, that's
great.
how I work. That's how I operate.
That's how you grease the palm, as you say. You gotta go. Also,
we have Updog games in Framingham. Smaller events. We're participating in Updog Bike Club this summer. They're going to be on Sundays in July. We are super excited. This is like our soft opening for doing Updog events. Laura, you can take off if you need to. I can finish. Okay. Laurie's going to leave. Do you want to say bye to everybody first?
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. So Updog Bike Club is pretty cool. It runs like Toss and Fetch in that we compete as a team against other teams, and you also will accumulate an individual score to help be competitive, for yourself. Updog is different than Toss and Fetch in that way, in that your individual team score is really important. Whereas with Toss and Fetch, it's more of like the collective, everybody on the team score is what accumulates points for the club team. So Updog Bike Club, shorter events, 2-hour events. We have 2 Sundays in July and then 1 Sunday in August where we will be running 4 games. So that will be a little bit longer of an event, but still will be on the smaller side because it's part of this bike club. So each night that we will play 2 different games. The Sunday in August, we will play 4 different games. And again, similar to Toss and Fetch, but the games are pretty different. So we ran a series of practices back in May. Super awesome to just get out onto the field. We have judging. So thankfully I passed the judging test, and so I can judge. We have another judge coming in, help us out so that I can actually run my own dogs. It should be really fun. The Updog events will not be big. I know that some people have attended events with face-to-face and different organizations, mostly down in Connecticut, really big events, all day events. Not going to be like that in Framingham, just shorter, just fun, quick events. But if you're into Updog and you want to check it out, come check out the field, come meet us. That we have a few spots available on those Sundays in July and then one in August. You can check out our website, thefetchcollective.org. We got all the information on there, registrations on there, etc. Feel free to message us if you have any questions, but we are cooking with gas at the Fetch Collective, so super excited about that. Anyway, I think that will conclude this episode as I sit here and talk into the ether. Thank you so much for listening. If you would be so kind, please leave us a review on Spotify. A rating on Spotify. You can't leave a review. If you're listening on YouTube, which not very many people do, but that's okay because it's available on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube and you like YouTube, you are a YouTuber and you're not listening on the other platforms. But if you're listening on YouTube, leave us a comment. It really helps the algorithm. People have been listening to the show, so thank you so much. We're going to try our best to get these episodes out with a little bit more frequency. Definitely want to have Carol and back on the podcast. We were actually talking this week because her dog Maple is going through some stuff, but I wanted to talk to her about nutrition because she has just knocked it out of the park in terms of the way that she prepares her dog's meals and in terms of the way that she has educated herself about nutrition and the way that she asks questions and the way that we solve problems together. It's been a really awesome experience working with her, and she feeds her dog completely homemade food, which is incredible. I don't even feed my dogs completely homemade food. So really anxious to talk to her again. If you haven't listened to the episode with Carol, please do. It was awesome, and it was one of my favorite episodes to record, and it was one of our most listened to episodes because it was entertaining and very useful, especially for you pet parents that, maybe got a dog and it wasn't your choice, and now you have to deal with training the dog. So Carol was really, really good, the episode that we did with her about a year ago now. So check it out. Thank you so much for listening. You will hear from us next time.